Okay, well,
Okay.
we're here today to talk about Tar.
Yes, the famous movie we've been waiting for.
Waiting for a few months now, and it's finally out, and it feels like there's a lot to unpack
I feel like there,
on my side. You don't feel that way?
no, I feel like there is. Like, I definitely have some thoughts, but like, it was a complicated movie. It feels
It was
very
so
like,
complicated.
and I don't know if it was like a language barrier or like
I don't think that
what.
was it.
Yeah, I mean, they talked very like in big words the whole time. Not saying I can't understand big words or
Mhm.
anything, but
I think though, you can fact check it, but I'm 99% sure this is a real person, isn't it?
um, okay, let me check. 'Cause I have.
Hold on a second.
Mm.
All right, did you check?
Yeah, so it says that it's not real, but
Oh.
like it's a fictional composer, but the movie does market itself as though it were based off a true story. Like, so I don't really know if they just kind of took someone's story kind of and just made it different, completely gave it a new name.
Okay. Before we dive into it, let's rate it, which feels actually really hard for this movie because it
It's
feels like
so
one you
hard.
need to talk about to figure out how you feel at all.
Yeah. Do you want me to say the ratings?
You can tell me.
Okay. Because I was really surprised, honestly. It has
Okay.
an 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, a 4.5 out of 5 on IndieWire, a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 79% of people liked the movie on Google.
Wow.
Yeah.
I get it in a way.
I
I
get it in a way
couldn't
too.
tell. It is so complicated. It's hard to say.
And it's like a true like indie film festival
It is
type
the
movie.
epitome of a film. I felt like I was at TIFF or
Yeah.
Sundance watching it premiere.
Yeah. It's not your like average just
It is
for
indie as
fun
fuck.
movie.
It's so realistic. I've
Yeah.
never seen realism almost done so well. I could see the perspective of every character, how relevant they were or not.
Mhm.
It was literally like being a fly on the wall of these people's
Yeah,
lives.
it really was. And I do think that like it was so like pretty. Like the whole film was really pretty.
It
I
was.
feel like definitely like the trailer heightened it a bit, like the artsy
Hmm.
aspect. Like I don't
It
think it
gave a
wasn't
different
artsy.
impression than what it was gonna be like, the vibe.
Yeah. But it was still really, really pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, it was almost in a weird way a comfort movie. Maybe not plot completely, but
Yeah.
it's so easy to watch. It felt like a rainy day.
Yeah.
You could be high as a fuck, and I was at one point higher than a kite, and it
Yeah.
was so easy to just
Yeah, which is maybe
watch.
is why you have like a little bit of a different perspective because I was not. And it was a slow burn. Like,
It was a slow burn, but it was because it was so
yeah.
realistic.
And they had really long scenes that were like,
All right, we're real hyping it up. Not that we shouldn't be, but
yeah.
talk to me about that ending. What did you think of that final scene? What was it even saying? That she has succumbed to this,
I
or
feel like she was almost at square one
okay.
because she started off in like, what was her start? It was like almost like some tribal or like not tribal, but
I don't know.
it was she started off not, doing she was in like another country or something. She did a lot of work with like certain I don't remember. It was a long movie. Like I will
It was
say
a long
like
movie. You want to know something really quick, and then I'm gonna change the subject a bit.
okay.
I got so high at one point, probably about 15 minutes into the movie. I was like, this syrup is not hitting, this
Yeah.
marijuana
You
syrup.
kept taking more.
Yeah, I was like, this is not hitting at all. Like, what kind of edible is this? And then it smacked me. It smacked me so fucking hard. We were probably 20 minutes into the movie, and she does this composer thing, and it was really
Mhm.
pretty. I swore the movie was over. I said,
Yeah.
"Holy shit. I can't believe it's
What?
like that was the end." I was scared. Like, no way. That's
It
it.
was like
It
literally
was only
20
like
minutes
20
in.
minutes. Yeah. Cuz that was a
That's
long
so
movie. It ended
crazy.
up
It
being like
was.
it felt like 3 hours.
It was like 2 hours and 38 minutes, I think it said.
Yeah,
So
it
that's a
was long.
long movie. And they were able to do really long scenes of like her teaching.
Mhm.
And like they definitely mean something. I enjoyed like
Oh
things
my
like that.
god. The character development was at a 10. A 10. Like just all you needed were these conversations between people, how they
Yeah.
interact with each other.
And Kate did such a good job. I feel like
So
I mean
good.
like I just understand like who
Uh,
this character is completely.
so much on way too human of a level.
Yeah.
That's way too human to be a character.
Yeah.
That is a person that is so fucking human
Yeah.
that oh my god, that's a real shit.
Yeah. It really is.
She blew it away. The movie, maybe I wouldn't give it a 10. She deserves a nomination.
Yeah.
Really bad.
She does. Because she did a really, really good job playing this lady.
Yeah, she did.
Okay, so ratings.
Oh my god, it's still so hard to say. I
It is
think
so
my
hard to say.
natural thought like an 8.25.
Yeah, I was gonna even go down to like a 7.6, 7.8
You know,
out of
when
10.
the first like
But
10
I would do like
minutes.
80 something percent, maybe like 83, 82% on
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes.
The first 10 minutes of the movie, I thought, "Oh, this is why people didn't really like it."
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, "Oh, it's really slow." Like it almost felt I don't know if you felt this way, but the beginning to me almost felt like bad acting. I don't know how to explain
I
that.
understand that in like the interview that she was doing when she was sitting down
It
with
was
that
so
guy.
long. It was like the first maybe 20 minutes of the movie were about 3 10 like 10-minute long monologues
Yeah.
almost. Really long monologues.
Yeah. And I think it just was showing like how her character was so put together, like had this huge career, like not only currently, but ahead of her,
Mhm.
and how much she was so grounded in that energy. And obviously, throughout, like, starts losing everything. Everything just starts going crazy.
Mhm.
So I think, like, it was just trying to show how, like, almost perfectly neurotic she was in a way at the
Mhm.
beginning.
Yeah, I mean, that bitch was really in her own world heavily. And her world
Yeah,
was appealing,
it was.
very appealing.
I At first, like, I wasn't understanding where she was, okay, where this was happening because I
Mhm.
know they mentioned Juilliard. So I
Yeah.
was thinking and then she was teaching
Yeah.
that class. So I
Weren't didn't
thought
they live in New York
she was in Germany, I think, or
the whole
somewhere.
time?
She was in that other country because
She
everyone,
was for a while. You're
yeah,
right.
that's where she lived. So yeah, that was like a little confusing because I like couldn't grasp like where she lived because it was giving New York at a lot of
Mm,
points. But then,
definitely.
obviously the house that she was in that she would work at had like the neighbors and she would speak to so many people in this whole movie like in
Okay,
German.
that you know how Timotei got the world's renowned round of applause for learning French for Call Me by Your Name?
Okay, not really because I didn't watch
Okay,
that.
regardless, her was it German she was speaking
I
most of
think
this
she was
movie?
speaking German. I think she did Russian even at one
It
point.
felt like she did every accent under
I
the book,
know
and
she did.
it was. I mean, I can't really speak if it
Like
was
almost,
flawless,
but it
like
felt
because I don't
fluent.
know it. But her acting was impeccable.
I know.
Seriously.
And the part where she is like practicing the song that she composed and she's going in between speaking English and speaking German, like,
Yes.
I mean, back to back to back.
And
Like,
it looks so natural.
it
It
did.
was so I believed this bitch
I
so
know.
much.
I did too.
Holy fuck, she did so good.
She
I
really
mean,
did so
that
good.
was a mind-blowing performance as an
I will
actor.
say, like, it is a drier movie. Like, if you are looking to be like, your jaw is on the ground the whole time, like, there's just so many things happening constantly that your jaw is on the ground. This is not that type of movie.
No, it was like real life. It was
Yeah,
very real.
it was. And I just kept thinking the whole time, oh my God, do not like be obsessed with this girl. Like,
Oh
you
my
do
god,
not
I
need to be
know.
obsessed with this girl, but that was like her new muse.
I know. It's
And it
really
was so
hard to
annoying.
even get into her whole shebang.
I know her life was just so crazy. Okay, my beef with it, like a little bit, and why like it's not like 100% for me,
Okay.
is because they kept so many things really vague, like what exactly this relationship was with this
For
girl who
real.
killed
For
herself,
real.
and obviously her assistant girl, Francesca.
Mhm.
They just kept so much vague that was just not explained, but they were clearly huge, huge parts of this whole
Huge. And for a
movie.
minute I was having a hard time following who Krista was
Yeah,
for real for a while
yeah,
because they weren't explaining it.
they
And
weren't.
I'm not going to say that first reaction is she did something right. Like she's not at fault. But you
Yeah,
didn't give us her side at all. I mean, I'll never know it. You like
right.
didn't write it into the script, you know?
I know, in the backstory of what their relationship was, because clearly it was something really crazy deep. It was some three-way, I feel like,
What? What are you talking
between
about?
Francesca, because she and,
Yeah.
Lydia and Krista, right?
And why
Mm.
did she kill herself exactly? Did they say that?
I think that she was like, they didn't exactly say it, but they were alluding to the fact that Lydia ruined her career. She must have fired her from her orchestra, and
Mhm.
she went to, I mean, you saw the emails. She was emailing every single person, don't take her. She's medically like messed
Okay,
up. Like,
okay.
she's mentally going to ruin your whole thing. And she sent that to so many people that
Mhm.
I think, obviously, as a musician, if you're in a relationship inappropriately with, the conductor or whatever, and then they screw you like that. I mean, what is your life anymore if you can't even get any job in your passion in your field because this person ruined it? I mean, I think it would drive somebody who's a true artist to maybe a
Totally.
breaking point.
I just I'm confused on the sexual aspect, the inappropriate part of it.
Well, I think she was clearly having an affair, and
Yeah, but
she
what
said,
was inappropriate about the relationship in general? They
well,
said she groomed people, no?
yeah. So it said like plenty of people had come out and said, hopefully it makes sense.
Okay, quick technical error. I think we were just talking about grooming. She was grooming the girls, right?
Okay, so yeah, obviously she was, I think you asked like why it was wrong, like what she was doing
Yeah, I
too.
mean, enough to destroy a career because it's not clearly just an affair and they weren't underage.
I think, while I do think that it's an affair that obviously somewhat ended in somebody killing themselves,
Hmm.
obviously she's grooming of any kind is really frowned upon. And I think that her students, or not just students, but her orchestra kind of started like looking down on her, not respecting her after that. And it is cheating really bad. And her wife is in the orchestra, which I'm sure a lot of those people are going to take her side. Obviously, I mean, it looks really bad, and it kind of is because she didn't treat these people good. And they said that
She
she would
didn't.
like promise careers or take them away as well as like a part
Mm.
of this hooking up deal that she had.
Shit. Okay.
So yeah, I mean it's definitely bad no matter how you
It was
really
bad. It was bad.
yeah.
The part that was so human about it, not to defend the abuser, but she knew it too. Like, do you know
She
what
knew
I'm
what?
saying? That it was bad. Like, at least
She did, but she didn't
when she got
care
caught,
almost that she was like really hurting these people and obviously
she was a bad person, like to some extent.
yeah, she loved her daughter and she would do anything for her. So I'll give her, you know,
Yeah. Her daughter
not
was
that
really cute.
her daughter was really cute. Not that I'm saying like if you're a good parent, fuck everything else you do and that you can
Totally.
just be whoever. But I mean, she obviously had her issues. She was like, it was so interesting her like going crazy over the sounds in her house and like just starting to really like lose it.
Yeah. Remember when
Like it was
this
almost paranormal, some of the things almost.
I know. She was really, really fragile. As soon as things started crashing just a little bit, her with that accordion when the neighbor said, "Hey,
Oh my
we
God,
don't
that was
need you playing
so
music anymore."
crazy.
That bitch had lost it. She was
Yeah.
going berserk.
Oh my gosh. There were so many moments that were just so crazy.
What kind of car did she have? Was that a Tesla?
Yeah.
It was nice as fuck.
Oh, they're so nice.
It was nice as fuck.
Her home, like her actual home, not the place that she works at, was
Yeah.
so
It
nice.
was unbelievable. Her life was aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Everything
Her
around her.
running and like the girl screaming. Like I want to just like know all of these like little things and what they meant to the writer and like the director and
What do you
what
mean by that?
like are they just is it her psychosis or is she paranoid? Like what are all these things? You know, like the um sounds that she was hearing, obviously the when she was on her run and that girl was screaming and she kind of like tries to
Oh
find it.
yeah, I forgot that even happened.
Mhm.
Yeah, what was that?
I know there's like a lot of like almost loose ends. They don't explain a lot in this movie at all. You're basically just watching something with no explanation. You can kind of get it. You can get like a lot of things, but some things are just kind of confusing.
Totally. What'd you think of her wife?
Poor thing. Like I really
I
liked
know.
her. Like
I
I
did
really
too.
did. I think she was great.
It
Like
was so interesting how well they captured Kate's perspective because each situation she had with each person, her being with her daughter one on one, her being with that older man, they'd have that lunch all
mhm,
the time, her being with her wife, her being with kind of mistresses, I guess you'd say.
yeah.
Such different environments. You're watching her, and they're pretty much the whole movie is those same four environments.
Yeah.
And her obviously music shit.
Yeah,
And
and
even
her
there, even in
assistant
her
person.
teaching and her composing, a totally different environment. And you're
Yeah,
just watching her days, like her days in her life.
I know.
And it seemed like kind of a fun life, like to be
I
honest.
mean, yeah, any artist that's like actually living in their art
Right.
is going to be a fun thing to watch. Even the boring shit. Like,
Yeah,
it's
she
just fun to
was like
watch.
almost just free. I mean, she was financially pretty good.
She was so
She
secure
was
financially
with her accolades, all her different awards, she just had the freedom to do whatever she wanted, just play and come up with
and
shit.
travel on that private jet.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
It was, and then even when she would cheat, which her wife, she didn't love it, but she still did have this wife
they
almost to
never
come home
even
to.
really showed any cheating. They never
Mm-hmm.
showed
I know.
she did, obviously she had inappropriate feelings for this girl,
Mm-hmm.
Olga. She obviously had feelings for her in some sort of way, but they never showed her cheating. Obviously, they showed the cheating in almost memories or dreams with the girl. What's her name? Kristen?
Krista.
Krista. Yeah. And the assistant girl, Francesca. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I felt sad. Okay. What I think she did to the guy that she was teaching that class to,
Hmm.
I think was inappropriate, wrong. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
duh. It was
duh.
bad.
But the way that they also took it, everything so out
Holy
of
shit. I mean, they
context.
really did. Because when we were listening to that speech, it wasn't like she was being not a bitch.
He
She
was being
was.
a teacher, bitch.
But she
Like,
wasn't being like a neo-Nazi racist
and like
psychopath.
an assaulter. Like they showed
Yeah.
her touching his leg to stop him because he kept shaking his leg.
He did though.
Yeah, he
He
was.
was
I
so
wanted her to be
aggressive
like,
with
"Can
his
you
leg.
stop like shaking your leg?"
Yeah, she was just being like dead ass. Like,
Yeah.
chill. You've been shaking your leg for
And
15
she was
minutes.
trying to teach him. She really was trying to show him like, obviously it's messed up that this is a white cis type of job that these people who are like famous composers or whatever, like it's messed up, but you have to like choose your
Yeah.
battles, like look past it. Not that I agree with that.
Well, he said, I think it was Bach, he had a bad history. I don't remember what it was. I think he said something about girls, like a bunch of little kids. He's like,
I
I
mean,
can't like really fuck with that.
yeah, definitely.
She,
But she was trying to teach him to still be appreciative of the music because this is what he wants to do and like
yeah.
I
I
see
mean,
her point of
yeah, no,
view, but
totally. I mean, she's trying to teach him just the music. She's trying to separate the artist from the music for
yeah,
him.
and saying
But
like you don't want somebody looking at you just because of it, it's giving like white lives matter or something or like all lives matter.
true.
Mhm.
But to me, in Whiplash, he's a bad teacher. But full circle of the movie, he's the best teacher in town. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
super abusive and awful, and that was, I mean, the point. But
I mean,
he
if you think
brought him to
about,
that point of fame
I'm
or whatever.
sure a lot of the biggest, like, most brilliant teachers on earth have
Or
this same
psychos.
really, like, psycho, really strict,
Not
really
to promote
mean.
it though.
Yeah. Like,
Not
it's
that that's necessarily a good thing.
not that it's like the best way of teaching, but a lot of them are like that. It was just very real.
It
Like,
was
I could
realistic.
really see, like, this being like a class, and it's tough. I mean, obviously, if she's teaching at Juilliard, this is
Hmm.
not a joke.
Yeah, I remember he
She's
packed up his shit. He's like, you're a bitch.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I mean, I really liked that little guy.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong.
He
Like,
wasn't wrong.
just walk out. You're a bitch, lady.
Yeah. Um, I do want to touch upon the assistant, Francesca. I know I keep talking about her, but
Oh,
she was
before
in,
you say, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
yeah,
The beginning of the movie, I was like, why do I know that
yeah,
bitch? And then as soon as she started talking with
talking.
that
Yeah.
accent, it said portrait,
Yep. Portrait of a
portrait on
lady.
fire. Pause. Yeah, I really couldn't believe it. I didn't know if I'd ever see her outside of that role.
I know. And
I didn't know she was like a full, almost American actor.
she's really not. I kind of like looked her up and
Really,
she's been in a little, I mean, this is definitely a multi like not
ethnicity,
not even ethnicity, obviously.
cultural.
Everyone was like white pretty much
Yeah.
except the end. But it was definitely like obviously a lot of different people from different countries were in
Yes.
it.
Good.
I think she did really good at her displaying her emotions as this
Yeah.
like poor bitch.
Okay, this is gonna sound mean a little bit, and I'm not trying to be mean. I just want to know your opinion.
Okay.
Did you like notice her hairline at all?
I wasn't really paying it that much attention. Why? It was like really
It's
messed up.
so specific. I've never seen a hairline like it.
Are you trying to talk bad about it?
No, um, it just stuck out to me.
What about it?
She almost has like a teeny tiny widow's peak,
She does.
and I don't know. It was just so specific of hair.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's not. I'm not even being mean. I like this bitch. Like seriously, I
I
really
like her
do.
too.
So sorry if
Okay,
that
so
was mean for no
she
reason.
was in, I mean, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is the biggest one. She's in a lot of just like,
Kind of random a little bit.
yeah, I think like French movies and stuff.
Good for her. I do like her. I want to reiterate that. I haven't yet
I
to
was
have a
really
problem
sad
with
for
her.
her.
Yeah,
Obviously, she had to keep shutting down her emotions,
yeah, and
keep
make
bending over
herself really
backwards.
small as a person.
And then she thought she was going to get that chance. The lady was not going to give her a chance. She really just wanted Olga to be on in the orchestra. And she was like, we have like auditions and you can put your name down to audition.
What is that? What she was talking about?
Yeah, she was saying like she could because they needed to fill the spot of that
Was
old
she
man.
a artist, a musician?
Yeah.
Wow,
And she got kicked to the side and she probably was like, well, you can be my assistant. And she was like, okay. And was waiting for her chance. And that's why whenever she
you
said
sure? You're
yes, and
confident.
she said that whenever Lydia came up to her, she was like, you're not, you know, gonna get the part. You're not gonna do it. And then she quit. Remember, she put in her resignation and then,
I thought she was supposed to delete those emails from
mm-hmm.
Krista or to about Krista, whatever. Didn't. What's her name? Lydia found out, and
She did, but she told
that
her
bitch
that.
hit the road.
So that guy who she said she was gonna like basically phase out the old man, she was telling everybody she knew that she wanted Olga to fill this role, but she wasn't trying to be obvious about it. So she was like, oh, we're gonna have, make a list of names of who can fill this spot. And she said, you can put your name on there. And she got all excited, like, oh, maybe my chance has finally come. And then she comes back in a little, like, I don't know, maybe like few days. Sorry, like, not gonna happen. Like, it would be weird or something. She had an excuse of why she couldn't. And she just was like in shock, this girl.
You're 100% confident that was the situation.
Like 99.9% sure.
Okay, for sure.
And yeah, and then she literally was like, "Where is she?" Like the next day, and the girl was like, "Oh, she put in her resignation. She'll like contact you with further details."
Okay, I just thought that
I think she had her breaking point. I think she was like, "This lady is just going to keep me in the same spot forever. She doesn't respect me." And
I know, but whenever the news started to come out about her and these girls, they said they've been in contact with her assistant.
mhm,
So I thought this was just a totally separate situation. I thought this was just her assistant and she was pissed at her. She leaked these emails or felt like she should before or something like that.
the assistant
Yeah.
was pissed
Yeah.
that she should have leaked the emails. She did after she was like, she quit.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, maybe that part just went right over my head.
Yeah, she started leaking, I think I mean, they didn't use her name,
Like I
but they
said,
were
this
saying
movie was kind of vague. I mean, you
it
just had to
was
be pretty
vague.
present.
You have to be really, like, really paying attention, honestly. But yeah, and sucks. I mean, I feel bad for that girl. Whatever. What do you think about her coming back to her old home and like going into her own room and then her brother was there and he was like, Linda. Oh, I mean Lydia. Like she clearly redid her whole life or something.
That was her brother?
Yes.
Holy
Because
shit.
they were like, where's like my mom? And he was like, oh, yeah, mom said that you were coming back. Like, that's why he wasn't shocked that she was there in that house. And she was going through all of her old awards. She put her old award on. She put, like, that was her childhood room.
Wow. I mean, it makes all the sense. Like I said, there was a moment for about 30 minutes I was peeking on this edible. So I think I just detached a
Yeah.
bit. I'm glad you were there in
Yeah.
reality to catch me up.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting because obviously this lady really did build her life up almost from not I mean, clearly changed her name, like started from scratch and then had to start again.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, the movie's kind of heavy.
it is. How'd
It
you feel about her attacking that man? Her big breaking point when she was like, "This is my."
it gave whiplash.
Yeah, really bad.
It gave him there's a scene where oh, I think he tackled like the composer or something like that. He lost his mind.
Yeah, it was really crazy. And I felt for her in that moment. Like, damn, like she really did create this. She composed this, and somebody else is going to be the conductor to
Mhm.
her music that she has been working on with these people. Like, she had made it perfect. She was like crying at one point because it was good. Like, it was
The
perfect.
music in the movie was fucking beautiful.
I
And
thought it was really good too.
her perspective of the music, you knew when she thought something sounded good and when it didn't, and you felt the same way.
Yeah.
You don't even really know what was so different about this performance versus the
Yeah.
other, but whatever she altered just now has just changed everything.
I know.
You
And
feel it to a different level.
it's really crazy because even whenever she was teaching that little class at the beginning and she was like, see how it's like a question and then an answer.
It
And like
was
you could really
beautiful.
hear it.
I
It
know.
was crazy.
It was unbelievable.
Like how do they do that just with sound? Like I don't even know.
I don't know, but it was beautiful, and most of the movie was fucking silent. So
Yeah.
when those moments came, they were powerful.
Yeah. It really was.
I'm usually not really into super quiet movies, but I will say the times where I find an exception is hyperrealism.
Mhm.
A good example, Manchester by the Sea. You don't need a ton of music because it's about grief. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was really obviously this part had other there's other reasons why they put this in there. But I was really surprised that like her threatening that little girl didn't come back to bite her in the ass ever.
Holy shit, I know.
She really threatened her so bad.
This was scary as
It was
hell because
scary.
you could see from that little kid's eyes, this adult telling you this, that girl was pissing down her leg.
She was really bad. And I thought that that was going to come out at one point because she was already like, just everything was coming out.
Yeah. I don't know. The ending felt a little bit of a flop. Like,
I
not
understand
completely,
that.
just.
I understand that. It was just like like,
It's almost like if it had. I hate to keep comparing it to Whiplash, but what makes Whiplash so good is this slow burn, pretty much,
mhm.
very realistic slow burn to one of the best climax endings
Yeah. I
out
mean,
here.
it feels like they had the climax ending, which was her just basically like losing it, like attacking the new conductor that was like her friend at one point. And then it kind of just, it was kind of dry, kind of sad, and
And
kind of just like, I'm not saying that what she's doing right now, who she's conducting for, is like a joke or anything.
I think that's what they were trying to imply.
I think it was just trying to imply that she's really having to start over from complete scratch, like the
Yeah, it
people
just feels
said.
like she, prior to this experience, would never perform at this event.
No, she wouldn't
This
have.
almost felt like a movie or a TV some sort of
Yeah.
Comic-Con thing.
Yeah, it was something really interesting. I don't even like I mean,
And
we
that's the
said
other
it's
thing.
hard to know cuz they don't explain
Yeah, there
where
was
she's
like
at, what she's doing.
confusion at the ending too.
Mhm.
Just like I don't know for sure what this is. I don't know what
Yeah.
this event is at all. And then post credit scene, if you did, well, not scene, but if you did stay
Mhm.
around for the credits, it's the most random music.
Like EDM or something. It
Yeah,
was so bizarre. I
yeah,
couldn't
all of
believe
that,
that.
and then some EDM to walk out to,
Yeah.
which just didn't really fit the
It
vibe.
was just not the whole movie. Like it was not the vibe at all. I don't understand where that song came in because I feel like the ending, like the credit song, can just leave you with such like a powerful feeling
Okay.
at the
I
end.
thought about this during the movie. You tell me what you think. It gave a little bit of essence of Neon Demon. Totally different stories, but just kind of the
Okay, I
slow,
can understand
realistic
I can understand.
aesthetic.
Mhm.
They're aesthetic in different ways. Neon Demon literally is neon colors, glitter,
Yeah.
sorts of shit like that. This was aesthetic in almost a basic, like
It was like
very clean,
it was clean,
symmetrical, put
modern,
together,
modern but
comfortable.
not like
Everything
there
felt
was
cozy at all times.
yes. I also thought this is kind of random, but her getting attacked by that dog when she said to everyone, I was attacked, like she was not. This dog didn't even run after her, but like the way that she felt, it was
I
so
thought she was
crazy.
dead.
Oh my God.
I thought for sure she was dead.
I thought something crazy happened like that too. Like she was going to wake up in a hospital because she hit so hard. It looked so real.
It was like, who was that
Like
stunt
it
double? Because are
feels
they okay?
it feels like they meant for her to like run up the stairs and run out and she genuinely like tripped or something and they were
They
like
kept
keep
it.
it.
Yeah. No, that was crazy. And like I said, I was proven wrong, but I did think this was a real person for some reason. And I
They
thought,
said that it was kind of.
well, I since I thought that this was a real person while I was watching it, I thought since I don't know her and they're making a movie about her, they're talking about 2020, so it's something relatively new.
Mhm.
Maybe this bitch died. Like maybe at some point she's gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
So when she knocked her head out, I thought, damn,
That would have been like the
that
worst
was
ending
wild.
ever. No conclusion at all to
Yeah.
anything.
I mean,
But
it was good. I can't lie. It felt very film festival.
yeah, like you have to be into that type of movie. Like you're not getting like an Inception, you're not getting a
Right. I
bodies,
mean, it's
bodies,
very indie.
bodies. You're not getting anything that's like you have to just know what you're going into. And you will like it, I feel like. But if you're not that type of person, if you liked I know we keep bringing this movie up, but Barbarian
We bring
like
it up every
I just
podcast.
can't get over it. Only because everybody like seems to be obsessed.
No, yeah. Uh, for real. I have yet to see, on God, a bad review. I've yet to see one. Except for maybe the ones you read. But
Yeah,
posts I see on Facebook and stuff, I've not seen a bad review yet.
it's truly unbelievable. I don't get that, but that's the only reason why I'm saying like I know that everybody has their tastes in movies and I can
That's
see
true.
like
These are just opinions. These
I
are
can
stars.
see a lot of people not liking Tar because it's so vague
It's
and
pretty
it's
dry.
real. Yeah. And some people are not going to be into that. So, but I mean, I was.
I was too. Yeah,
I
it
like looking at
was
pretty,
cozy.
like aesthetically pleasing things.
It was artsy in its own way.
Yeah.
I would watch it again just for, like I said, it almost felt like a comfort movie. It was
Yeah.
just so appealing, easy. The environments were so
The environments
clean.
are so heavy for me in movies. Like if the environments are like good, like I just love watching it. Like I want to live in that house. I want to move to wherever she lives. It
Yeah, it
looked
was
so
nice as fuck.
amazing. Yeah.
Would you change your rating or keep it the same?
I'd probably keep it like the same.
I would too.
Yeah.
I do think it was good. It's the weirdest thing because there were moments when I was thinking,
But
is
I'm
this a
gonna,
bad movie?
yeah. I mean,
I really had those thoughts a few times.
yeah, there were
Like,
a
is this
few
just
times
bad?
I thought that too. I do think that I was expecting something better. I thought I
Mm,
was gonna like be like jaw on the ground. Like that was so amazing. Like my new favorite movie. Like
mhm.
I really thought it could be. And it wasn't, but it was still really good.
But I'm happy it exists. It feels
Yeah.
like it does. I don't know if it's a hidden gem. I don't know if I could call it that because I think a lot of people know about it. But if it wasn't as popular, if this was like 10 years from now, Not a lot of people have seen this movie. If you did at the time, you did. If you haven't, you probably never did.
Yeah.
That's something like, oh, go check it out. I mean, it's low key a hidden gem. Low key a good movie. I don't know why it's low key.
Do you know what the exact vibe feels like to me? And this is really weird because I did not like this movie at all.
What?
But the storyline's completely different story, but just like the pacing and the vibe is just like that movie, the the mom, the lost daughter.
Stop. No way.
To me, it had the same like kind of like pacing, slow burn, kind of
Okay.
like spooky almost. Like you feel like something.
I'm gonna step in real quick. Okay. I'm gonna say two things. I'm gonna say two things
You
to that.
disagree?
First thing I'm gonna say is that for the people who don't know, we did not like The Lost Daughter.
Yeah.
Not gonna necessarily say it's a bad movie.
We
We were
literally said
not
that
the
it
target
seems
audience.
like it would be a good movie for mothers.
We are not mothers, so we're not the target audience. This was
Yeah.
very, very clearly the target audience are people who can relate to this. I'm sure a ton of people related on all different levels and
Right.
all different ways, and it hit them totally differently. So, not saying it's a bad movie, just wasn't the target
Right.
audience
And I
at
feel
all.
like this is kind of a similar movie of where like you might not be the target audience if you are like more of an action sports fan. Like
Mm,
we're like we like artsy things. We're artists like at our core.
mm,
So we're going to like something like this. But somebody who's like my mom, I think would like literally kill herself if she had to watch this whole movie.
no, yeah. I mean, if you have my favorite genre of movie in general, if you can call it a genre, are obsessed artists. So if
Yeah.
you give me almost anything under that category, I'ma be biased to
Yeah,
it.
you are. And that's totally, totally fine. But that's why it gave me The Lost Daughter because that one was really slow and kind of left a lot of things
Oh, the
vague.
second thing I wanted to say about The Lost Daughter, the more it has sat with me since we watched it months ago, the more I respect it. I left watching that movie pissed. I mean, I was mad.
Yeah.
We both said we will never get those hours back
Yeah,
ever.
we
That's
did.
what it led up to. What does that even mean? Like that was the dramatic conclusion. What are these people's problems? We're lost in this
Yeah.
house. The more that time goes on, I don't know. I mean, I get the simplicity of it. I get
Mhm.
her because you're thinking when you're watching The Lost Daughter. I know we're going off a huge different movie tangent, but when you're watching The Lost Daughter, you're thinking almost one of her kids is dead or something
Yeah.
like that. She's dealing with some sort of grief. This is whatever is going to be revealed at the end of this movie is something bad
Yeah.
that she is dealing with, and it makes sense for her whole personality.
Mm.
She just dipped for a little bit, and her kids still fuck with her. So it
Yeah.
was just like a
But she
what?
was grieving her whole life the whole
No, I
time.
know, and that's what made over time it processed better in my head
I
because
mean, I can get it
in
because
real
that's how I
life
feel,
that I'm sure
probably.
is a very hard thing to come to terms with, that you had this selfishness
Mhm.
really bad to the point of leaving your children, and then her saying I don't regret it. Like there's just a
Yeah.
lot of different layers to that.
Yeah. Not saying that I would leave my kids. I kind of forgot that she did that, but I can what?
You forgot she left their kids, the
I
lost
just don't
daughters?
think of that like movie very much, so it kind of just like left my brain, but I do understand that like you lost your whole life to kids that you really I guess were too young to realize you didn't want or whatever.
It was complicated.
It's very complicated, but
That's a
you
different
know,
that's a
it's
different
a different
talk.
movie, but the same that's just why I'm saying I feel like it's kind of like a similar vibe. Like we wouldn't like The Lost Daughter really, but it was pretty. There were some,
It was pretty.
it was quiet. It was a really quiet movie.
And it was another kind of fly on the wall.
Yeah. Okay, so I do want to say the director is Todd Field, and his big movies are like Stranger Than Fiction, Twister, Eyes Wide Shut. Like he's such a specific The Haunting.
That
It's
feels
so
so different.
random. Well, I meant like it's specifically random or something. Like to end on this like tar. Not saying that he's never gonna make anything again. It's just it's so random. I can't understand his style, so I don't know. Like he seems to have been
I
around
feel like I
forever.
almost have to do some Googling for this movie because it
Yeah,
feels like I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that it was hard to follow. Maybe
it
some shit
was a
just
little bit.
went over my head.
It was a little bit hard to follow. Like I'm not gonna say it's not. I was pretty much fully sober and was still
You're
like
still lost in the sauce a little bit.
yeah, like halfway through, three quarters through, I'm just like, do I feel like do I really know what's happening right now? Or
Yeah.
am I just like sitting here along for this ride and just watching and hoping that I understand it at the
Yeah, the
end?
other thing though is that that's also what made it so realistic because when you have conversations with people, you don't say, "Hey, you know Krista, that girl, that accordion, that you like."
Yeah.
You're just gonna say, Krista did this."
Yeah.
If you're having a real conversation,
Mhm.
because these people both know Krista,
Right.
so all of the conversations were just so realistic. You're so much of a spy in this movie
You
that you
are.
are like just kind of figuring it out yourself.
Even when these people are talking to each other, like the her and her teacher, which is that old man, that was her old teacher.
Was
Like,
he?
yeah,
See, all over my head.
yeah.
Glad you were there.
He had said that he was her teacher and he gave her like a little thing to, I guess, put in her book or something. But whatever. Point is that their conversations are really like you might not know what they're talking about because they're talking about
Like,
composer
yeah,
shit and
the
like that's just
past.
not.
Yeah.
I feel like obviously the composer of this movie, Hildur, and then I am not even going to attempt to pronounce that last name.
Okay.
It is something so crazy. You can look why I'm not going to pronounce that.
Older. Okay. I was
Yeah,
about to
G.
attempt.
G.
Hilder G. Yeah.
Okay, he did really good. I feel like the cinematographer
Good job.
probably like really did a really good job.
You know what's funny is that I, when the movie was starting, I was thinking this is giving Vox Lux. And one thing that they do have in common, they have the credits shortly after the intro scene.
Mhm.
This movie
I feel like
had
we've
that
been
too.
seeing a lot of movies like that lately.
Really?
Yeah. Or like, in the middle, like Climax had theirs in the middle.
Oh
But there's
yeah.
been a few movies. There was like one that we recently saw that was like that.
I know Tarantino does it a lot, but I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head. But you're right. Climax, yeah, that had a very interesting. Again, that's a different podcast because that's a movie to break down in an entire different way.
Oh my god, yeah. So we won't get into
Yeah,
that.
let's just stop while we're ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I do recommend it for the art fans. If you like indie films,
Yeah, I recommend it, period.
watch it. I
Mhm.
would never recommend it to like someone like my mom, which obviously no one knows, but like can't sit through. Nope.
Yeah, if you have ADD or anything like that,
Hallie could never
take
watch
some
this.
take some Adderall before you go in or don't go in.
Yeah. There's certain people that
You
this
might get a
movie is
little
just not going to
restless.
be for.
It's slow. It's a
Like, I just
slow
can't
movie.
imagine like almost anybody in my family being into it. Like, I could see Jeff watching it and probably not really liking it too much, because he's a principal. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I can't see almost any of my family sitting down and liking it. So that's why I'm not saying it's seriously not going to be for everyone. But if you're into that type of film, eat it up. You will be eating it up, period.
Mm,
And
yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good, period.
if you're a weed smoker, smoke some weed, take some
Mhm.
edibles, because I think you'll really like immerse yourself in it more. You might miss some key details.
Yeah, bring a sober friend to catch you up later.
We'll catch you up, but after you
Yeah.
watch it.
But yeah, I mean, I was high. I did smoke some, well, I ate an edible and it was relaxing. It was a relaxing watch. It felt like being in the car while it's raining, you're in the back seat and you have space or
You know what, the
something.
one thing I like probably would end on is just
What?
that, like, I know this movie is about a composer and they did have music in this movie, don't get me wrong. I wanted more. I
Me
wanted more
too.
of this music and these scenes of her conducting. I was itching
Okay,
for
if
it.
we were gonna rewrite, and I know that this isn't what the story, this is not the message of the story,
Mhm.
so this would never happen. But if I was to rewrite it, unqualified, rewrite this movie, um, rewriting that ending to either a fuck it moment, I'm having this final performance whether you like it
Yeah.
or not,
They didn't even show it really.
just anything that give me a Whiplash ending. Fucking like
Yeah.
that's what I'm craving. I came here because I want to be musically blown away by music I don't listen to. Do I listen to jazz? Never. Did
Yeah.
Whiplash have an outstanding ending? A 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Do I listen to classical? Hardly ever. Rarely, sometimes, not like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But this, her final, this is my career's over and my family's gone and I'm about to get
Yeah.
fucked by the world final performance. You would have shot me through the roof. This would have been going down in
'Cause
one of
it's
my
like,
favorite
even
movies
if you're
ever.
just conducting this random little thing,
Seriously.
you could still go
Even yeah, if
nuts.
you still wanted to have that message, you could have an audience with one person in it to put the
Yeah.
message and her still doing out of control good.
Yeah, and really show it. I mean, they just showed the audience really. They stopped showing her.
I know. What the hell? That's why it gets its knockdown. But
Yeah.
if it had a phenomenal musical ending, I know that's not the message of the
Yeah.
movie, but if it had that, I would just leave satisfied. I would leave much more satisfied than I did.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
it was all the rest was good. I think the rest of the movie was
Mhm.
a good movie. It had just kind of a weird ending.
Yeah. And like I said, some like things that were really vague that you kind of wanted more answers to,
Yeah,
but you're just
some
not going to
holes.
get it.
Tar too. Filling in the holes.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good.
Yep, good as fuck. Period. To me. All right,
Definitely.
that's it, huh?
That's it.